Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of our VGC19 battle series. We are in the Moon series, and this week we kicked off with this brand new team with Yveltal, Groudon, Tapu Koko, Stakataka, Incineroar and Tapu Fini. If you've not seen any of the matches already from this week, go back up here, put a card in for you guys at home. You can go back and check some of the matches out. We've had some incredible games this week, and hopefully we can finish off with some incredible games today. So without further ado, let us get into it. But before we do, make sure that if you enjoy this sort of content, leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, make sure you hit that little notification bell so you get all the notifications when this content comes out, and make sure, more importantly than anything, leave a comment in the comment section below, because I love hearing from you guys about these teams, about how you're doing in this circuit, what you've got planned coming up in this series, and all things to do with VGC. So let's do it, let's get into it. In our last episode, if you haven't seen it already, there was a little bit of hard feelings. There's a lot of RNG. We talked about RNG towards the end of the episode yesterday, and for good reason. Like, sometimes RNG is RNG, and we choose to play this game, but doesn't mean we have to like RNG, does it? And I was talking about if there was a variation of Pokemon that didn't have any RNG, I would play that 100% over this game, because I just think the chance factor in the game, something that I don't personally really like too much, but it is part of the game. We have to deal with it, we have to mitigate it, we have to weigh up pros and cons of what's good and what's bad in every situation that you've on the field playing. But if I could take it away in a snap of a finger, I definitely would. But that's enough of that for today. We're going to enjoy these games and talk about the team a little bit. Hopefully it doesn't take too long to find an opponent. If it does, as always, I'll just cut to the opponent screen and we'll probably talk about the team when I find an opponent. And we have our first opponent of the day. Here we go. So let's get into team preview, guys. I'm always caught out as well. I'm like, oh god, it's taking ages to look. I'm just gonna look at my phone, and then I'm like, oh, it's happened, here we go. But we've got our first opponent playing a team of Yveltal Solgaleo, one of the best restricted pairings in my humble opinion, paired up with Heliolisk, Tapu Koko, Serena and Landorus. A really nice build here actually. You've got the Heliolisk and the Tapu Koko, which is electric pairing core, which is very nice, very threatening for our Yveltal in particular. Then the Serena, which kind of puts the stoppers on us using any priority attacks like Fake Out to disrupt our opponents, help us set up our field conditions. The Landorus there is going to be the Intimidate supporter. It is immune to ground type attacks as well, so we're going to be a bit careful around anything. Groudon does really well in this match. Got to be very careful around in particular, I think the Yveltal and the Serena, depending on if the Heliolisk has solar power as well. We've got to be a little bit careful around that, but it may have Dry Skin to help with the Kyogre matchup, because the Kyogre matchup feels a lot harder for this team than the Groudon matchup. So on that basis, I would say probably more likely to be Dry Skin, but cannot discount it either way. Right, what are we going to do? I think Yveltal's a nice lead. I think we have Groudon in the back. I think we bring Fini, Incineroar and Groudon, and we'll lock in with that and we'll get into this match right away. But as I was saying, before we were looking for an opponent, before I cut out bits, before we found them, talking about the team, I really like the team. There's a few things that I'd maybe look at changing on the team after the games this week, but overall it's been doing really well. And I think the problems with the team when we've had losses this week have been more down to, well, we had the Ho-Oh loss where we just missed out the KO because of the Fire Punch. We don't have a rock type attack, so maybe it's down more to team selection in team preview than it is the actual team being able to perform well. But an extra rock type attack might come in very handy. That's the one thing that I would look at changing in this team, although we do have Tapu Koko. Wow, is that a no, I was like, ha, thought our Misty Terrain had already went up, but it has. That was like, not the slowest Tapu Koko in the world. But no, we got our Misty Terrain up. So I think what we're going to do is just pull a double switch here. We're going to go into Groudon with Yveltal, and we're going to go into Incineroar with Tapu Fini. There is a chance that we could see a Tectonic Rage coming out from this Landorus, but it's just going to pull a hard switch, going to stretch straight in to Yveltal. So that's fine. Radiating that Dark Aura. We'll see where this Tapu Koko's gone. I've got to be careful around Tapu Koko because it can be the Pokemon that a lot of players kind of fall to use that Z move because of it's so fast, it's so threatening, it's got the fast pivot as well. But what we want to try and do is deny its pivot here, so hopefully it's going into that Yveltal slot. Tapu Fini is an easy target for it, but it's an easy target for us to switch in the Groudon as well. It's a bit of a 50-50 here for where my opponent goes with this Z move, but if we can catch another Z move into our Groudon here, it'd be amazing. That's the second time we do it this week. I'm gonna see it. No, it's gonna be into Incineroar this time around, but Incineroar, at least the Misty Terrain's up. So we could have got a free attack off with our Yveltal here, but hindsight is always a beautiful thing, isn't it? We are going to be able to take this. Wow, there's so much damage even in Misty Terrain. Tapu Koko. Now my opponent switches out the Tapu Koko 100%. So we'll bring in Yveltal, and I think I'm going to U-turn out onto the opposing Yveltal, because the Landorus comes in here for my opponent for that Tapu Koko 100% to get the Intimidate off. So that's one thing we don't want to keep Groudon in. It's not really doing very much on the field right now in front of both of these flying type attackers. Again, another reason for that rock type attack on Groudon would be very useful, and also Stack Attacker. But the thing is, with Stack Attacker, we do have to worry about is the Landorus. It's probably only got, oh wow, Dark Pulse coming out. That's an interesting choice on Yveltal. We're going to get a free U-turn here on our Incineroar, and we'll be able to bring in Tapu Fini again, and this time around it's a bit different, because if the Tapu Koko comes back to get the terrain in, we've got Snob, we've got Icy Wind, so as long as they hit and the RNG isn't being a total ass, then we should be in a decent position going into the next few turns at least. And we've got the Swagger combination as well with our Yveltal and Tapu Fini. That's quite a nice option as well, where you can swagger the opposing Pokemon and then foul play them for big damage. But we're going to see the Landorus stretch straight out, and Tapu Koko are going to walk into this Snarl and Icy Wind, which I do not mind one little bit. So there's a Tailwind, which does help out that Tapu Koko, but indicates that that Yveltal is not an Assault Vest variant. So we do get a Snarl off, which is going to be super helpful, and also the Icy Wind does help us out quite a bit against this Tailwind. But we do miss. Of course we miss. Gotta love it, gotta love it, gotta love it, guys. We're in a bit of an awkward situation again, like we were turn 1, so I think it's like the turn where we make the decisions. Now, do we go Groudon into Yveltal, or do we go... I'm going to go that way. I'm going to tend to go that way. I'm going to do exactly what I did before, because my opponent might think that I'm going to switch the sides if I do pull a double switch, which way I go with them, but I'm not even going to do that. And the Heliolisk coming in for the Yveltal, and let's find out if it is got that dry skin or not. Kind of indicates that it might not, because my opponent brought it to this game, and we do have Groudon. So we'll see at the end of this turn though, because it will activate, and we do get the Intimidate, although it's not very useful onto either of these targets. We're going to see a Thunder into... It's going to be into the Incineroar again, targeting that slot, so we should have went Groudon there. We are going to lose Incineroar. Nice thing is though, we do get... there is dry skin, so we don't need to worry about it too much. We'll get Fini in. Now, and my opponent's crazy, actually going for a Thunder in the Sun as well. I mean, crazy. We get rid of the Electric Terrain, but now we can Icy Wind and substitute. This is exactly what I'm going to do, because if either the Yveltal or the Landorus come in, they're not going to enjoy taking an Icy Wind. The Tailwind is turn by turn pittering out. Very soon it will be gone. There's Tapu Koko gone. Yveltal. We're going to see this Heliolisk do. And then the Z move's not there. It's going to go just for a Thunderbolt into the Tapu Fini. I mean, as far as most things go, we take that pretty well. And then we get the sub up with Groudon. And the sun does fade. Doesn't help us that massively. But I think the Heliolisk probably actually does go. I'm going to go Precipice Blades and switch into Yveltal. I don't really want to lose Finny so early on. And a Thunderbolt from the Heliolisk will just take it out. Whereas Yveltal can take it a bit better. And if it does go for it, then we can, we can get rid of the Heliolisk with Groudon this turn. As long as Precipice Blades hits. And the Dog Pulse coming out into Groudon. So substitute does fade. Does hit. Excellent. We're able to get the Heliolisk. The Tailwind Pit is out for my opponent. Okay. So we'll probably see the Coco come back in. Maybe the Landorus makes more sense to get the Intimidate onto everything. No, it's the Coco. Could have Grass Knot as well. So we have to be a bit wary about the Grass Knot. For sure. But I think what I'll do is go Precipice Blades, and I think we need... no, we've got Tapu Fini for the Groudon, but Yveltal would be a little bit better. It's just a Grass Knot. A Grass Knot and a Dark Pulse will probably take Groudon down, so we need to get some kind of mileage off this turn regardless. So a Snarl here for my Yveltal. If we lose it, we lose it, but we should take the Coco down. My opponent goes for the... we're not going to see that. We're probably just going to see a Thunder into the Yveltal. We might see Volt Switch. Grass Knot into Groudon. Okay. We'll take this, yeah. I mean, this works out fine for us because we get the Snarl off onto the Coco. Like I say, we should be able to take this Coco down now with the Precipice Blades. Yeah. But that happens, doesn't it? Let's bring in Finny for Groudon and go Snarl again. Coco gonna switch out. Yveltal gonna come in. We're gonna see an Earthquake from the Landorus. It's an Earth Power. Okay. So that just should proc our Berry, which makes things a lot easier for us to deal with. That Snarl really coming in useful there. And we'll get another Snarl off, especially because of that. Like, that makes things way easier to deal with. So I think this next turn as well, we'll just go... I'm gonna actually... so we got Icy Wind or Heal Pulse. Probably better off Heal Pulsing our Yveltal right now. And Snarling. There's another Earth Power. No switches, which is always nice. We'll probably see maybe Tailwind come out from the Yveltal. Let's go on Oblivion Wing. It has taken Snarl damage though, so it will be reduced attack power. Yeah, so this works out ideal for us really. Apart from when our Snarls miss, of course, which is just never great. And now we can just Icy Wind and Snarl again, because we just got to be a bit wary about that Coco coming in. If we can catch it on the switch, and I doubt my opponent switches it in now though, knowing that the Snarl could potentially come out and neuter it slightly. Oblivion Wing from this Yveltal again. It's going to be into Finny this time. Yeah, just trying to take that down, get rid of the Misty Terrain so the Coco has a better time when it comes back onto the field. And there's the Snarl from my Yveltal. Take down the Landorus, reduce the attack damage of that Yveltal. And then we're going to have the Tapu Koko to come back in now. Got to remember that it still has access to Grass Knot, so it is very threatening to Groudon either way. But I need to try... I feel like I need to try and maneuver a bold position where I can get Tapu Fini out so the Misty Terrain back on the field, but doing that leaves Yveltal in a bit of a real precarious place. But we do have the ability to heal pulse now if we want to, and we can snarl. So if the Koko attacks into Yveltal, we should take it. We'll get the snarl off, except this will happen dazzling clean, which is better than a Thunderbolt, to be honest. But so it's got Grass Knot and Dazzling Gleam and Thunder. We get the snarl off, which is always nice. And it goes Tailwind. I don't know why. I don't know why. Why would you go Tailwind there? Just get damage off. You know Coco's got the Z move. I'm just gonna protect Groudon. Or do I? Do I protect Groudon? I think I just go Fire Punch into Coco and just snarl. Okay, Dazzling Gleam. I mean, we both take this. Maybe Groudon even takes an attack from... I don't know if we do. Not aura boosted. But we get another snarl off. We could have protected there. And one more snarl is going to be enough to win this match for us, really. Once the Coco goes down, the opposing Yveltal's doing nothing right now, so that's fine. We should be able to lock this one up in our first one today. Thunder misses. There we go. That's perfect. That is perfect. I just need to I've got something scheduled in now, and I just need to make sure who it's scheduled with knows that I'm just running a little bit late. Here we go. Okay, wait there. I'll read that in a second. I'm just gonna foul play. This is really bad. I'm really sorry, guys. I shouldn't do this in the middle of a video, but it's kind of important, and I've run over with recording more than I could stop it, but I mean, no. Okay. That's fine. Okay, that's good. Okay. Right. So we will move on to our next game, guys, and hopefully it's a good one to send off the week for our good selves. Rating's creeping up. It's a lot better than we had a disastrous stream last week with our X and Y build. It just didn't work out well. So our rating took a tanking, but we're getting back. We're getting back up there. We've got Consta from South Korea as our next opponent, 1528 rating, playing a team of Lunala. We'll get into the proper screen to do it. Lunala, Xerneas, Tapu Koko, Toxicroak, Incineroar, and Amoonguss. So, I feel like this team has... Our team has a very good matchup against this team. The things that we've got really do help us out a lot. I think we have to bring Yveltal. I think we bring Incineroar, Stack Attacker, and yeah, Groudon. I mean, it does leave us a little bit open to the Amoonguss, but we don't necessarily need to set the Trick Room up for ourselves. So let's get into this one, guys, and give ourselves a good way to end off the week. So exciting, exciting. I always like playing Xerneas Yveltal. This is the first time I've played this particular team with the team that we've started with this week as well, so it's going to be interesting how we kind of match up against it. Incineroar, Lunala coming out for my opponents. We're going to get that all-important Intimidate off onto our Yveltal and Incineroar. And they do have access to Fake Out as well. But the Lunala's in a hell of a tight spot right now. Like, two dog types facing down against it. It can't really do much damage return. I mean, it could have the Z the Fightinium Z, which wouldn't be too far-fetched to think that. I'm just going to U-turn out onto the Lunala. Our Incineroar will take that Fightinium Z, unless it's like modest and then it gets the high roll. The high roll. So we should take it pretty comfortably. So I'm just going to pivot out. There's the Lunala, retreating. Like a scared little boy. Yeah, and then Tapu Koko coming in, which is fine. Because this, like, if the opposing Incineroar fakes us out, yeah, it doesn't fake out, yeah, that's perfect. It gives us a perfect turn to get Groudon in now, and we're in such a nice position going into turn 2 of this match. And then what we've got options to do is switch Yveltal out for Incineroar. My opponent doesn't have really anything that's resisted like Levitate, Fly, does it? No, nothing at all. So with its Intimidator out on the field as well, it makes it pretty difficult for it to do anything. So I'm just going to Precipice Blades. I could substitute here, but at the same time, like I say, with anything coming in my opponent's side of the field, it's going to take a heck of a lot of damage. So I don't know if they want to switch anything in really. Break Shadow Shield. Xerneas potentially takes a lot of damage if they brought it. I don't know if you bring the Xerneas to this game, it is pretty hard, but there we are. There it is. So Koko probably protects. All has Grass Knot or Volt Switches, yeah. And then Incineroar comes in on the other side, which again I don't really mind too much, because we got Stacker to bring in as well. It's just like every point I feel like you've got an answer for this sort of team. But it just depends how my opponent plays it as well. Like, we've got to play it carefully. We can't just be frivolous with our choices. Thankfully, Precipice Blades is actually hitting, so we're not getting too salty about everything. What do I do here? Do I roll the Xerneas and just Precipice Blades again? Yeah, I think because you probably got Geomancy fake out the Groudon here, and you expect us to probably fake out the Xerneas. There's the fake out into Incineroar, and there's the Geomancy. I don't mind this too much either, because we get another Precipice Blades off. We will, like, Groudon will take a Moonblast. A Moonblast. Moony. But we do need to keep Groudon around for that Tapu Koko. I hate you. Groudon, I hate you. Why do you miss, like, the important Pokemon? We don't care about Incineroar. We need that damage onto Xerneas. Let's roll and just protect Groudon this turn. I mean, we could have substituted that last turn as well, helped us out, but if Tapu Koko has Grass Knot, takes that out the equation. You've got to be careful with how you substitute on a slow Groudon, I think. I feel now I've got to sack Incineroar to get Stack Attacker in, so I can actually set up the Trick Room, or at least threaten that Xerneas. I know we'd be in the same position going into this turn because the Xerneas wouldn't go down to Precipice Blades, but it's the additional damage that really just makes it all just annoys me. There's a Moonblast and Thunderbolt into Incineroar. It's be enough probably. Yeah. Okay. So Stack's coming in. Stacker. Do we just go Gyro Ball? Gyro Ball P-Blades. Does my opponent protect here? Like, probably better off Trick Rooming. And we could switch into Yveltal just to sack it, to be honest. Yeah, let's bring in Yveltal. I feel like my opponent wants to probably double in on the stack attacker, but I don't think it's going to have enough in the tank to take it down. Who knows? But I think we're going to get more out of this game if we've got Groudon and Stacker on the field, rather than Yveltal and Stacker on the field. So there's a T-Bolt. Yep, that's fine. This is fine. This is fine. Because we get the Trick Room up. Now we can Gyro Ball, Precipice, Gyro Ball, Precipice, Gyro Ball, Precipice, all the way home. He says, Precipice has got a hit though, obviously. So if we miss one little time, the Coco, if it's sashed, it's broken. So we'll go Gyro Ball, and then we'll go. I mean, we could even go Tectonic Rage into the Coco just to make sure, because it's the only thing that's really giving us a lot of grief right now. Let's do that. Like potentially picking up the knockout on Stack Attacker. So the Xerneas could protect here, and I don't want to miss. Don't want to miss the Tectonic Rage as a protect from the Xerneas. The Gyro Ball. I know it's a bit of a waste of a Z move, but it guarantees getting rid of the Coco and stops my opponent getting this turn off that they're planning on doing, hoping that the Precipice Blades misses. And we've already seen this week so many times how costly Precipice Blades can be when it misses, and you lose games because of it. So Coco, bye bye. Bye bye Coco. Okay, so Coco's gone. Excellent, which is perfect. And then what's my opponent got? The Lunala to come in. It's not massively straightforward like now. It's really not. We go Gyro Ball, get rid of that, and we have to P-Blades. We'll probably lose Stacker. But I mean, Groudon's so bulky. You've got to go for the double protect with Xerneas as well. But I don't think you get it. As long as they can remove the Xerneas here, then there's no Psych Up potential from that Lunala. So hopefully my opponent can hurry their options up and move pretty quickly. The double protect does fail. We are going to get the Gyro Ball, get rid of the Xerneas, and this hopefully should be enough for us to lock up the match. They're relying on that double protect there. There's the Beast Boost. It's not really going to help us out too much against the Lunala. Precipice Blades actually does hit. Wow. Well done, Groudon. Well done. Z move coming out. We're going to have some sort of Dragon Ball Z overlay. I hate this Z move. It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. Like, I love the animation, but for YouTube purposes, it's a pain in the ass. And we have to watch it. It's like, oh, come on. I wish there was a way we could, like, just click off the Z move, like, animations. It would be so good. How useful would that be? So I'm going to see the Z move into Groudon. We'll be able to take this. Boosh, boosh, boosh. Wow. Okay, I mean, we take that pretty comfortably, don't we? Trick Room. How many turns of Trick Room we got left? Like 1? 2. That's ideal. We'll just Gyro Ball. It probably protects this turn, and Precipice Blades. I think we should have enough now. Like, the Lunala probably protects this turn, but probably tries to go for the double protect. But no protect coming out. I wonder if this is going to be enough. It just depends on the Precipice Blades hitting. Shouldn't have risked it. We should have went for Fire Punch. So there we go. Good game to my opponent. We finished with 2 wins today, so that's very nice for us, isn't it, guys? So Good game to my opponent. Had a lot of fun this week. Hope you've enjoyed the episodes this week, guys. Let me know in the comment section below, and I will just end by saying have an amazing weekend, whatever you're up to, and we'll catch up with you next week, and we'll continue on with more games from this team. So until then, guys, take care of yourselves, and bye-bye!